Hello everyone. Surf was up today in my backyard, so I decided to go ahead and surf this morning instead of following the market. Kind of a good thing I did because as I expected going into the 4th of July, we're kind of dying out following our Monday swoon fest. But Wednesday was an overall positive session for the market. What I really liked was our final hour and our final minute, even though it wasn't overall the greatest. Do I still have this up over here maybe? Yeah, let's look at this one. QQQ. Even though it wasn't the greatest final hour, at least it was steady. At least we closed decently in the final minute. We didn't sell off. So overall, we held the lows from 2 p.m. very well. And I got to admit, overall, I'm relatively happy with today, but we are nowhere near out of the woods yet. The NASDAQ still has not retaken its 50-day moving average. Its TSV MACD oscillator is pointing lower. So is RSI and stochastics. So there's nothing in there that says that we need to rally right now. But we do continue to get long signals. Our new long signals yesterday worked. Well, two of the three did. And the one's still holding in, but it's not that great. But overall, it's we're kind of in no man's land. It's hard to figure out where this market really wants to go next. The Russell 2000 is still holding on to its 50-day moving average, retaking it today. Excellent sign. Its stochastics is working off that overbought condition, so that's excellent to see. RSI 2, MACD, and TSV is also moving lower, so everything is still moving lower. No real oversold bounce coming yet. TSV looks good on the S&P 500. It found support at the 200-day moving average. All those oscillators are kind of mixed, but overall, we're still kind of stuck in no man's land, really. You can look at the highs this year and the lows this year, and as long as we're in between those, I wouldn't expect, anything amazing from any of our long positions, but they continue to do well overall, so nothing to really complain about. I only had one full sell signal today, MITK. I was already shaken out of it back here on the 24th as my final cut loss was below 377 and it hit 373. Yay, whatever. And MITK since then, right here, closed below the 20-day moving average not seen here, moved below that low a day, so you would have been out intraday on at least half the position with the move below 378. But now it's closing at 367, which is below 374, which would be the ultimate final sell stop I would have used if the market would have stayed strong. So MITK is a full sell 100%. And then XON is failing its 20-day moving average in a very, deadly fashion. It just went ahead and closed near its low of today, so it was an ugly overall session, heavier volume. I got knocked out of all of it. My final sell stop on XON initially was 43.21, but after it starts to move up here for 3 days, I moved my sell stop to 45.56. And unfortunately, intraday, I was taken out whenever it moved all the way down to 45.38, so I'm completely out. If you're not, it's a 50% sell end of day. You can either do one of two things. 100% sell if it moves below 45.38, or a 50% sell if it moves below 45.38. And then you can still go ahead and use this final level if you want to. But what I would go ahead and do is if you didn't sell any at all, I would move my final sell stop to 45.37. And if it trades below 45.37, you're going to be completely out of XON. It should have continued to move higher. It's showing some poor relative strength today. So to me, it was all out, but it's a 50% end of day sell. And then new long ATRC. Technically, it's closing below the opening or the low of day of the signal date, 24.14. You can even use 24.08 with it closing at 24.02. But volume's below average. It didn't really lose its strong green bop. It's still overall positive, so I will continue to use my final sell stop level, 23.71. So I am still long all of my TRC. And then good news is new long CHRS worked immediately and CTRV worked immediately. So that is good news. And so that's why tonight I'm not going to be shy because we have one new high quality long position, one speculative quality session and add signal. The high quality long is BLKB. BLKB was not going to be a new long signal when I initially scanned my CanSlim stocks, but I guess it picked up somehow during the update. It must have had under 203,400 shares traded because it wasn't flashing a pocket pivot point signal. When I re-updated my scan and then went through my scans, it then showed up in my pre-perfect speculator scan after already showing my can slim scan, which I already flagged it, so I already underlined it. But as I was going through my pre-perfect speculator scan, it showed up again, and now it has a pocket pivot point signal, and I see volume hit 206,000 shares. So that's excellent. That means it's going to be a new long signal. So BLKB is a 2.5% long position. Once again, we don't risk much if we're wrong. We risk about 3%. Let's say something crazy happens, we get a bad fill, we risk about 3.62%. So overall, not much risk at all for potential huge reward stock, as it's already moved. Let's just use its most recent low in 2014, 92%. So maybe we can get 100%, 92% gain potential from this signal compared to an only 3.62% risk. And then also we got a long ad signal LXFT. LXFT also in the can slim scan. It did have a pocket pivot point signal the first time I went through. It is also a pre-perfect speculator scan quality stock. Pocket pivot point signal, we're already long. So this ad is only a 1%. And BLKB, by the way, is a 2.5% long position for being can slim and confirmed in the pre-perfect speculator scan. If it wouldn't have been confirmed pre-perfect speculator scan, probably would have just been 2% overall. Just double a 1% signal, basically, because we're still in a mixed market environment. We're definitely not out of the woods yet. So it doesn't pay to get too, risk averse here. So what we're going to do is just keep BLKB at 2.5%, LXFT add 1%. And then a new speculative long position, NMIH. I flagged this stock. Why won't it switch? There we go. I flagged this stock back here on the 25th. Probably was flagging it back here too, but I don't know. I assume just by the way it looks, I was. So I was probably flagging it back here, but I know for a fact I really started to pay attention here because of that big volume surge and the big bop surge. Flagged it there also. So these are the 2 days, 25, 26. Had the ugly day on the 29th. Nothing yesterday and today. It's bouncing again off the 50-day moving average with another volume surge, with bop surging back to max green and another pocket pivot point signal. So this is the third time it's really, piqued my interest in 5 sessions. So NMIH, speculative long position, 1%. Once again, we don't risk much at all before we know we're wrong. We're going to probably risk a total of 3%. It's right around 3% if we use the 790 lows. So 1% NMIH, 1% in the LXFT ad, and then 2.5% BLKB. 4th of July is coming up. I think it's tomorrow last week. That's right. Tomorrow's Thursday. Okay, so the market's closed on Friday, I do believe. God, I do not know if I'm right or not. Yeah, it's got to be closed on Friday. Hopefully not Monday. It doesn't make sense. So Thursday should be a dead session. I don't plan on much going on, but I'll see you in the chat room.